Good evening, everyone, and welcome to JFSA's Brain Health and Wellness Initiative series, where we bring community education each month to inform and promote a broad landscape for brain health. We offer CEUs to our professional audience as well. Today's topic is the importance of hydration for your mind and body. My name is Jonathan Yassani, and along with my colleague, Hannah Thompson, we provide care navigation in the JFSA Dementia Care Navigation Program. Our program establishes an empowering environment to help improve the quality of life of those who have dementia or are at risk of developing dementia, while helping family caregivers reduce the stress and burden that often occurs while caregiving. At JFSA, we understand the importance in working with our clients' strengths and applying a person-centered approach to care, which extends throughout our multidisciplinary team of geriatricians, nurses, social workers, and geriatric psychiatrists. Hannah and I meet our clients where they are at and develop individualized care plans that help produce solutions to presenting problems, from linking persons with dementia and their families with community resources to following them with their medical management. We are their point of contact for guidance, a listening ear, and creating interventions that adhere to their biopsychosocial needs and experiences. While presenting, please feel free to address any questions, thoughts, or comments to the Q&A icon. We will take some time after the presentation to answer your questions. Our presenter is Leanne Stuver. Leanne is a registered nurse with an extensive background in health education. She worked as a hospital nurse for 10 years before earning her master's degree in education. She has over 20 years experience in the planning and implementation of adult education programs at Menora Park Center for Senior Living. She has served as their director of the Rose Institute for Lifelong Learning and later became their director of lifelong learning. Ms. Stuver teaches community education classes about the importance of lifelong learning and brain health. She is passionate about educating the community in practical ways they can learn to support their health and wellness. She is an accomplished Savvy Caregiver Workshops facilitator at the JFSA, officially trained by the co-creator of the National Savvy Caregiver Program, Dr. Carrie Sherman. Leanne has been involved in numerous speaking engagements and is currently a dementia support group and a Savvy Caregiver Workshops facilitator at the JFSA.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. Welcome, everyone. We're so glad you could be with us this evening. Jonathan and I came prepared tonight, so we each have our glass of hydrating liquid with us. So we're hoping that will encourage you, if you don't have one with you right now, that when we're done tonight, that will be the first thing that you do is go to get some hydrating liquids. So while we're on that intro, since it's now summer and the last couple of days aside, it's now starting to get warmer and a lot of us are outside more. I really want us to start thinking about how important staying hydrated is, not only for our brain, but our body as well. So when we think about water and what it does for our body and our brain, we often don't think about the fact that water is the largest component of our human body. So an adult body is about 60% water. So water is vital for everything that goes on inside our body. It nourishes the cells, the tissues, the organs, our brain, our lungs, all of our organs all have a large amount of water, usually between 65 and 85%, depending on which organ we're talking about. And I didn't know this till I started researching this, but even our bones are 31% water. And I think if you had asked me that a few months ago, if our bones had any water, I wouldn't have known what to answer, but they are. Even they have 31% water. So let's look at some of the other things that water does inside our body. So it protects and cushions our vital organs. If we think about what our organs look like on the inside. And if you kind of picture them in your head, I think we would picture them moist or wet. We wouldn't want them to look all dried and cracked. That wouldn't sound very healthy. So we think of them wet looking. So, and a lot of that is because of the fluid and the liquid that keeps them hydrated within our body. The water that we drink and that we take in also moistens the tissues, such as those in our mouth, our nose, our eyes. If you've ever been dehydrated, you may notice your lips were chapped or your mouth was really dry, or maybe you had trouble forming tears. So staying hydrated is really important for that. The water in our body also regulates our body temperature. So the idea of sweating is when our body sweats and we get water that is on our skin that then evaporates. That is a cooling mechanism. So it's that water that we're able to sweat that lets our body cool itself. So that's real important for our body temperature regulation. Our breath is very moist. Think about standing in front of a mirror and blowing on the mirror and you leave that wet spot on the mirror. That's the water that is in our lungs that facilitates our breathing. That water that gets into our bloodstream helps maintain our blood volume and our blood pressure. If you ever know of anyone that gets dehydrated, they may get very lightheaded, they may get dizzy, they may faint or have falls. That's because our blood pressure drops. So that water helps keep our blood pressure at a good point, especially when we're standing up and gravity is working against us. That water also helps our bloodstream carry the nutrients and the oxygen throughout our body to keep us thinking well and all of our organs working well. It also prevents constipation. If you are dehydrated, you will also notice you often get constipated. So keeping ourselves well hydrated also keeps our bowels regular, which we all, of course, want to do. It also lubricates our joints and our bones and cushions those things. So if we're not hydrated enough, we may have joints that ache, or it may flare up our arthritis because we don't have as much cushioning because that liquid is missing from our joints. It also helps our kidneys filter all those waste products out of our bloodstream and into our urine. So it also going to help prevent kidney stone formation if we stay well hydrated. For any of you that might be prone to those, staying well hydrated helps with that. And it also lastly helps with digestion and helps our body absorb the important nutrients from our food that it needs. And it also helps convert that food to energy. So it helps those chemical reactions take place so that what we eat actually becomes fuel for our body and our brain. Now, water is not the only thing that's important. We also have electrolytes, and I'm sure you've all heard of that. Sometimes they're referred to as salts. So we could say that we are salty. Our body is salty. It's not just water, it's also these electrolytes. So we have calcium, potassium, chloride, sodium, and magnesium. Those are the 5 really most important ones. There's other ones as well. And it's not just the individual levels of these electrolytes, but how they work together. So sometimes if one raises in our bloodstream, another one decreases. So by staying hydrated, we keep them all at an acceptable level in our body. And we're going to talk in a little bit about how those get out of whack. But these electrolytes are real important too, not just water itself, but the water helps keep these electrolytes in balance. Some of those imbalances can cause heart problems. They can cause heart arrhythmias. They can cause thinking problems. They can cause us to lose our balance. So keeping all of these electrolytes in balance is real important too. Now, how do we lose water? So probably if we were in person and I asked you, you would probably come up with these big ones. So we lose water when we urinate. We lose water when we have a bowel movement or in our stool. Sweating, like I talked about before, is another way that we lose water. And just the act of breathing. Like I said, when you breathe on a mirror, you can see water leaves your body. So breathing also, our body loses water. And this is natural. These are the body processes that naturally we lose water. So if we don't drink anything at all, we would get dehydrated just because of these functions. Obviously, urine output is the biggest percentage. If you look at that little pie chart, it's 42%. Breathing is the next one, the next biggest release, bowel movements, and then sweat. So those are the 4 big ways that our body releases water. Now, what are some risk factors for this water loss? So drinking less water than normal is one risk factor for getting dehydrated. Oftentimes, as we get older, we tend not to feel the sensation of thirst as much as we did when we were younger. So we tend to drink less than we did when we were younger. And that can set us up for having some dehydration issues. If you like to drink beverages that are caffeinated, caffeine is a diuretic. It helps our body flush liquid out. So you may pay attention to, you don't drink a big cup of iced coffee before you get in the car to go on a long road trip, because you're going to have to stop at the rest stop down the road, because that caffeine makes you have to pee. And so caffeine actually can make us more dehydrated because it makes us go to the bathroom more. Alcohol can also be dehydrating. So we think about, oh, I had an alcoholic beverage with dinner. And we think, well, we drank some liquid. Well, yes and no. Yes, you drank some liquid, but like caffeine, alcohol can make us urinate more, and it can add to dehydration in our body. Some of us may be on medications that set us up for dehydration. If anybody is on any type of a diuretic or a water pill or a fluid pill, something like Lasix, if you have problems with your ankle swelling or have a heart problem, your doctor might put you on a diuretic to help get rid of that fluid. Well, obviously, when you take that pill and you get rid of fluid, that makes you more dehydrated. Now, part of that is the whole goal of having you on that diuretic. So if you are on a medication that is meant to decrease the fluid in your body, you definitely need to talk to your doctor about what is the right amount of hydration for you. So a lot of the suggestions I'm going to make tonight are for the average person and their hydration status. But if you have health concerns, especially around your heart or fluid retention, especially in your ankles, then you need to talk to your doctor to make sure you're doing the right things, because you want to keep all that in balance. Extreme heat is another risk factor for water loss. So if you think of times you've been in a really hot environment and maybe you've sweat more than normal, or you add activity onto that, and that makes that water evaporate out of your body faster and set you up to get dehydrated. If you're running a fever, same thing, increase in body temperature also evaporates that liquid out of your body more. So that can make you dehydrated. And obviously, if you're vomiting or have diarrhea, that is liquid that is leaving your body and sets you up for dehydration. So these are some of the big risk factors for water loss. Now, as far as our gut goes, it's a real big area that controls a lot of this water status. If you have vomiting and diarrhea, then it can cause a real imbalance in your GI tract, in your gastrointestinal tract. And your good bacteria and bad bacteria can get out of whack. So by staying hydrated, we keep our gut bacteria healthy. And it kind of becomes this vicious cycle. So if you get about a vomiting or diarrhea, then your bacteria gets out of whack, and then it causes more diarrhea. And so you then kind of get into this cycle that dehydration can become a big issue for you until you get all of that regulated and back on an even keel. So anytime you have vomiting or diarrhea, you have to be real aware that you are setting yourself up to be dehydrated and to be aware of those signs and symptoms. So as we get older, we need to think about the medications that we're on and what are the side effects. Is water loss, going to the bathroom more, a side effect? And if it is, then we need to be more aware of our hydration status. Our body size and our muscle mass percentage also makes a difference. And I'm going to look at my notes here because I get this backwards because it's counterintuitive to me. So if I asked you, do you think muscles have more water or do you think fat has more water? Jonathan, I'm going to put you on the spot since you can talk to me. If you had to guess which had more water, what would be your guess?
I would guess muscles.
Okay, then you are right. I think I would have guessed fat, but Jonathan gets an A+. So muscles in our body are about 73% water. So they're very full of water. Fat tissue is only about 20% water. So let's relate that to our body. If we're a very muscular person, then we are more hydrated because we have more muscle mass. So we have more water because our muscles are more full of water than our fat. As we age, however, our muscle mass starts to decrease and we are prone to have more fat deposits. So because we're losing muscle and adding more fat, that sets us up to be more dehydrated. So that's another good reason. If any of you were here at the physical activity talk that I did last month, this is a good reason to stay physically active or to work on your muscles to keep them active because they also help keep you hydrated. The next concern is, are we eating and drinking enough? And we're going to talk about this a little bit more. But as we get older, we may not feel those hunger signs. We may not feel thirsty. And we sometimes don't eat and drink enough to keep ourselves hydrated as we get older. We also need to pay attention to our activity level. As we get more active, we burn more water off or we sweat it off. And we have to take more in as we become more active. And we also have to be very cognizant of our environmental conditions. This can be outside environment, or it could be inside. If you don't have air conditioning and it's a really warm and a humid day, you could get overheated and lose water and set yourself more up for dehydration. So you need to be really aware of all these factors and how that relates to you and your hydration status. So let's talk about what to look for. What are the signs of dehydration? So feeling thirstier than normal is one of the first one. And most of the research says by the time you feel thirsty, you are already dehydrated. So you need to drink even more than just you would regularly do if you feel that, gee, I'm really thirsty. That means you're already dehydrated. If you notice your mouth is dry or your lips are chapped, that could be a sign of dehydration. Maybe you have a lack of energy, or you feel kind of weak, or you can't focus. Those can be signs of dehydration as well. I'm going to skip the next one and go to headache, dizziness, feeling lightheaded. Those are also signs of dehydration. Also being constipated. That can sometimes be the first sign that you are a little dehydrated. The best way to know if you are dehydrated is to become familiar with the color of your urine. And I know that sounds really creepy, that I want you to pay attention to the color of your urine, but that is how you know if you are hydrated. So just as a basic idea, if your urine color is those top three, then you are properly hydrated. And if your urine color is darker below that red line, then that's probably a sign that you need to drink more. Now, here's the catch to this. If you're looking at the color of your urine in the toilet, it's even more diluted because you've added it to the water. So if your urine is dark in the water of the toilet, you are even more dehydrated, because whatever you're looking at in the toilet is lighter than what it would be if it wasn't mixed in with the water. So I want you to pay attention to this for the next few days. Pay attention in the morning when you first go to the bathroom, first thing in the morning when you get up. It's probably a little darker than it is as the day goes on, because most of us don't drink as much in the middle of the night. So it becomes more concentrated. As we drink more during the day, that color should lighten up during the day. But that ideal color of your urine is a light yellow color. Now, there are some medications and some vitamins that if you are taking those, they could make your urine a darker color. So that would be something you need to talk to your doctor about to make sure, am I dehydrated, or is it the medication that is making that color? But the absolute best way to know your hydration status is to pay attention to your urine color. If you have a family member that you're concerned about their hydration status, this is a good way if you can kind of peek in on their urine color. I know my dad used to like to urinate in a urinal, and that was a great way to really see what his urine looked like. But I know everybody doesn't do that, and for women, that's a lot harder to do. But if you get familiar with what your normal urine color is, and then pay attention to a day that you're maybe feeling thirsty, and then you see what your color is, you get used to what your normal is. And then that can be a sign, hey, I need to drink a little bit more this afternoon and get that urine color back to that nice light yellow color. So I want you to start paying attention to your urine color. Now, what is the recommended hydration for most of us? So it's typically recommended that we drink at least 8 cups of water a day. So that's like the 8-ounce cups, not big, huge cups, but an actual cup. So 8 cups of liquid a day. Now, depending on your activity level, your body size, the climate you're in, you may need more or you may need less. So again, you need to pay attention to what is right for you. And if you are on any of those medications for fluid or water retention, you definitely need to talk to your doctor, because they may not recommend that you have those 8 glasses of water. But for the average person, they recommend about 8 cups of water a day. Now, when they say water, they think water is the best, but if it's a non-caffeinated beverage, it counts into that water. If you're drinking a cup of caffeinated coffee in the morning, you can't really count that as a full 8 ounces, because it's going to make you have to urinate and it's going to level out. So I want you to ignore any caffeine liquid that you have and only count the non-caffeinated fluids that you drink. Now, there is some good news, because I know some of you are going to say, I don't like to drink that much. It fills me up, whatever the case may be. We also get liquid from our food. So this is just the first page of the most hydrating foods. But I think this is something good, especially for those of you who maybe don't like to drink as much. Lettuce is very hydrating. Strawberries, melons, cantaloupes, watermelons are on this list. Spinach, bell peppers, zucchini, oranges, tomatoes, pears, cucumbers are also another one that's high. So if you're incorporating a lot of fruits and a lot of salads in your diet, you're also getting liquid through those sources as well. Now, they're a little harder to measure because they're not really, a cup. You can't really measure how much liquid is in those foods. However, you can still monitor your urine color. So keeping some of these hydrating foods in your diet is good for your hydration. It's also real good for the nutrients that you get from them and keeping that gut bacteria healthy. So I want you to think about foods that you can eat as well. You also can think about foods that are liquid at room temperature. So for example, ice cream, popsicles, yogurt bars, anything that would melt if it's frozen and it would melt, those actually count into that liquid category as well. So Jell-O, when it would be at room temperature, it would melt. So you can be creative. It doesn't have to be just 8 glasses of water, but you do need to make sure you are getting enough fluids. Now, what happens if we get dehydrated? Do we need to do anything different? So there are products out there that would be considered an oral rehydration solution. So something you would drink to help with your hydration. They have electrolytes, some of them have vitamins, but they help restore that fluid and electrolyte balance in our body that happens when we get dehydrated. Sometimes if you know you are prone to get dehydrated, you might want to have some of these on hand. So Gatorade is one option. Pedialyte, we often, as a parent, I always had Pedialyte on hand to give to my kids if they had dehydration or vomiting or diarrhea. The other picture there is Numa. That's another more organic coconut water-based rehydration solution that a lot of athletes use. So those are good options that you can have around the house as a backup, so that if you just felt like you were kind of dehydrated, they can help get everything back in the correct order a little quicker than just drinking water or other fluids. But as we get older, if we think we're dehydrated, we really should touch base with our primary care doctor, because if we're super dehydrated, we may need some IV fluids. We may need a trip to the emergency room. So you don't want to mess with being dehydrated. It's really important. It can throw a lot of our body functions off, and we don't want to have heart arrhythmias. We don't want our kidneys to be stressed out. We want our body to be healthy, so we need to keep that in mind. But there are these types of liquids you can have on hand at home that can help with that if you need it when you're a little dehydrated. So what can we do every day to work on our hydration? So one of the things you can do is always carry some water around with you, especially in the summer. Maybe you don't even want to use this type of a container because you can't see what's in it. Sometimes it's helpful if it's clear and you can actually see how much of that liquid you're drinking and know that you need to have 2 or 3 of these a day to be well hydrated. Keep a water bottle or a cup of water by your bed. If you get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, when you come back to bed, take a couple of sips of water. So then you're kind of making up for it. And I know you don't want to get up at night and go to the bathroom any more than you already do, but you also don't want to get dehydrated overnight, become lightheaded when you get up in the morning. So you still need to think about your dehydration, even in the middle of the night. Check your urine color. We already talked about that. Drink a full glass of water when you take your medications. This is a great way to get one of those glasses of water in. If you take medications, let's say twice a day, and you drink a full 8-ounce glass of water while you're taking your medications, you've got 2 of those glasses done just from taking your medications. And it's good to make sure those medications get completely rinsed down through your esophagus and into your stomach. So the water is good for that. If you get bored with just plain water and maybe you don't like carbonation, so you don't want to drink something that's carbonated. Another thing that you can do is you can flavor your water with fruits or vegetables. You can put orange slices or peach slices or cucumbers or mint leaves. You can put different things in a pitcher of water. They even sell some diffusers that you can put them in that the juice from the fruit or the vegetables goes into the water and flavors it. Fancy hotels will have water containers that have the fruits and the vegetables floating around in it. The other thing you can do is put a splash of fruit juice. Even if it's a sweetened fruit juice, if you put just a little bit of it in your cup of water, it gives you that flavor that it's not quite as boring as plain water if you don't like to just drink plain water. Drink water after going to the bathroom during the day because you know you've just lost some liquid. So drink, a half a glass of water or whatever it is, and just start putting that back into your body. If you like a glass of orange juice or cranapple juice or cranberry juice in the morning, start adding some water to it. That way you get a little more water into your juice. You're still getting the juice, but you start to make it, maybe you add 3/4 of a cup of juice and 1/4 cup of water. And then maybe a couple of weeks later, you do half and half. And then you're increasing your hydration because water is the best hydrating liquid, but it doesn't have to be the only one. And finally, don't limit water for convenience. So what do I mean by this? My mom is big on not wanting to drink anything after she eats dinner in the evening because she already gets up to go to the bathroom a lot and she doesn't want to drink extra liquid because then she has to go to the bathroom even more. This is really frowned upon because it sets you up to be a lot more dehydrated in the morning, sets you up to be lightheaded or to be not as steady. So do not keep yourself from drinking, especially if you feel thirsty, just because you don't want to get up and go to the bathroom in the night, because it's better for you to get up and go to the bathroom and to stay hydrated than to get dehydrated and have those effects, because that's harder to even out. So think about that. Don't make yourself dehydrated just because you're going to be going on a car ride or because you're going to bed at night. You need to stay hydrated 24 hours a day. So what are the most important things that I want you to take away? I want you to think about the fact that our bodies need water to function in all those different areas we talked about. So it's not just staying hydrated, it's keeping our body functioning the way it is meant to function. I want you to keep in mind all those different ways that we lose water from our body every single day. We breathe, we urinate, we have bowel movements, we sweat, we lose water every day, each and every day. And also know that older adults are at an increased risk for dehydration. So as we get older, and we're all getting older each and every day, hydration becomes a bigger factor for us. And the earlier that we develop these good habits, the better off we are in the long run. So staying hydrated is no different than getting into an exercise habit, getting into a meditation habit. Whatever the case may be, staying hydrated needs to become a good habit for you in order to keep your body and your brain functioning well. Know those warning signs of dehydration that we talked about and don't ignore them. If you notice them, do something about it. If you notice them in a family member or a friend, encourage them to get rehydrated. And have some of those oral rehydration solutions around in case you need them, but that's definitely not a must. But if you are dehydrated enough that it's causing some of those symptoms that we've talked about, you really should call your doctor and talk to them about it and figure out if you need to be doing something more than what you're doing at home, especially if you have vomiting or diarrhea that goes on for an extended period of time, more than 1 or 2 instances. There are a lot of resources that you can look at, and I know Jonathan will be sending out the copy of these slides to you, so you'll have them. But the Centers for Disease Control is a good place that you can get good hydration tips. Abbott, which is a health company, they have a nutrition news blog that they had one that was really good about hydration. The Cleveland Clinic has a lot of great information on their website about staying hydrated. And Swanson, the food company, also has a lot of great information that helps you understand how foods and beverages really make a difference in our body and can keep us hydrated. So if you don't remember everything I've said, or you want to check into more of those fruits and vegetables, since I didn't show you the whole 25, you can check out some of these resources as well for additional information. So that is most of the information. So I'll ask you to put any questions you might have down in that Q&A section if you hover your mouse down at the bottom of the screen. And Jonathan will monitor those and let me know if you have questions or comments or suggestions that maybe you use to stay hydrated that we can share with the group. That would be great.
Thank you very much, Leanne. Thank you.
I'll wet my whistle while we're at it too.
I know, I was doing that during the presentation as well.
Good, it's good motivation for everybody.
It really is. I feel like now that I'm thinking about water, like I'm more thirsty. I don't know. It's in my head. I don't know.
That's okay. It's good for you.
Exactly. All right. I have heard that milk is one of the best hydration methods. Milk.
Milk is fine. It doesn't have caffeine. And it's a great option. If you like milk, milk can count into that beverage. Chocolate milk, whatever kind of milk you like, strawberry milk, doesn't matter. As long as you don't have a diabetic issue with too much sugar, you can feel free to have milk, have almond milk, oat milk. That counts as your full amount of liquid. Those are great options. You'll even see athletes on TV advertising chocolate milk as a great way to rehydrate after exercise. So milk has a lot of those electrolytes and vitamins and minerals that we need to replenish. So yes, milk is a great option as well.
Yeah, that's a great question. I heard about that too. So someone can drink 8 cups of milk instead of 8 cups of water.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yep.
You really like milk.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of water in milk. So if you think about it, that's cows make milk and they drink water. And so milk has, I don't know what the percentage is off the top of my head, but anything that pours like a liquid has water-like properties to it. So it's hydrating. So yes, milk is great.
Thank you. Ice cubes chill the liquids, so it might be more palatable for some people and add liquid. Yeah, actually, if you put ice cubes into an 8-ounce glass of water, you're actually adding a little bit more liquid. And if you really want to know how much your ice cubes at home add up, put some in a measuring cup and let them melt. And then you'll know
like 10 of my ice cubes are a half a cup. I don't even know if that's right. I haven't melted ice cubes, but if you want to be that particular about the fluid, you can actually measure how much your ice cubes are, and then you're adding that to your liquid, because once they melt in the glass, you've got more liquid on top of it. So yeah, some people really like chilled beverages. Other people don't. Some people prefer room temperature or warm. Doesn't matter what temperature the beverage is. If it doesn't have caffeine and it doesn't have alcohol, hot, warm, cold, ice cold, doesn't matter. They all work for you to keep you hydrated.
Does one help your metabolism better than the other, temperature-wise?
I'm sorry, what was the first question?
With water, does the temperature, does it matter what temperature it is for metabolism?
I don't think so. If you have a bowel issue, if you have irritable bowel or some other kind of disease of your stomach or your bowel, perhaps the temperature of the liquid may make a difference to you, or individuals may feel that it works, but I don't know off the top of my head that the temperature of something makes a difference as far as the metabolism goes. I could be wrong. I didn't actually find that when I was doing this research. It's a good question. But from a hydration standpoint, I think if you like warm liquids and that's all you drink, then that's fine. Because it's, for me, as far as hydration goes, it's the amount of the liquid and monitoring your urine color to make sure you're hydrated.
How can we help elders who have urgency as well as frequency with no infection and who restrict fluids because of this?
Yeah. Sometimes if you can increase their food intake of those more liquid type foods, it's still going to make them go to the bathroom more. But you're going to get them a little bit of extra hydration that they may more readily accept than just drinking a glass of water. So they need to stay hydrated, even though they have those issues. And I know it's difficult for people because they don't want to have accidents, but they need to stay hydrated because they can get kidney damage if they get too dehydrated, and then that sets them up for even more urinary issues. So if switching to more maybe Jello, fruits, vegetables, if they can tolerate that with their teeth, that's another thing for people that are older, that sometimes vegetables, lettuce, salads are harder, but melons, melons are softer, peaches, pears, those kinds of things. If you can increase those in their diet, you will be increasing more liquid through the foods as well. And it may not appear to your older adult relative that you're pushing the fluids as much. Sometimes you can even think of it as fruit that's in fruit juice. That liquid counts as well. So if they have a little cup of pears or peaches or whatever, and there's liquid in there, and they eat the liquid with the fruit, that also can count as their liquid. So sometimes being creative to, use pudding. I know pudding isn't quite, but it's still got liquid in it. So pudding and Jello and fruit cups and even applesauce, does have liquid as part of it. So if you can increase some of those more hydrating foods, they may go along with your idea of getting them hydrated a little bit better than just pushing glasses of liquid on them that they then equate with going to the bathroom. Fruit and vegetables are kind of a way to increase that, but it is a really fine line. People often don't want to rely on Depends or some type of protective wear But sometimes in order to stay really hydrated, sometimes older people do have trouble getting to the bathroom without having a slight accident. So if you can have that conversation with them that, you need to stay hydrated for your health, let's get you these, liners for the underwear so that if you do have this urgency and you can't quite get to the bathroom, you're protected and you don't have to change your clothes. But stressing the importance of this hydration for all of their organs and for their thinking. If we get too dehydrated, we don't think as clearly. We have that brain fog. We're not able to focus. So it's really important for our brain as well. But that's a great question.
If one gets frequent urinary tract infections, will drinking more water help prevent those from happening?
It can. So dehydration, it definitely it increases your risk for having a urinary tract infection. It technically is, some kind of a bacteria that causes it. But if you are going to the bathroom more often, you often can flush that bacteria out of your system and it doesn't sit in there as much. So it is flushed out. Now, I'm not saying if you're not, you could be exposed to the bacteria and still get a urinary tract infection if you are well hydrated. However, I think you can decrease the frequency of getting them if you increase your hydration status, just because the bacteria get flushed out of your system with the increased urination. But great question.
Is it dangerous to drink Gatorade every day in place of water?
What I would say is, I don't think you should drink one of those electrolyte solutions all day, every day. I think you could have one a day to help make sure that you keep those electrolytes in proper balance. If you are getting enough hydration and if you are eating a well-balanced diet, you shouldn't need to drink them every day unless you're exercising a lot or it's really hot or something like that. It will not hurt you to drink them every day, but I don't want that to be your only hydration. So I don't want you to just drink 8 cups of Gatorade every day. I want you to get some water. I want you to get some other types of fluids, but drinking a Gatorade every day is not bad for you, but it's not necessary if you are well hydrated and if you are eating well. So I hope that makes sense.
And then do you have any suggestions if water makes you feel full and bloated all the time and just when you drink a lot, you're full and bloated? So.
Yeah, and this happens a lot, especially as we get older. The water tends to just kind of make us feel more full and more bloated. And again, this is where I would come back to those water-rich food products, or maybe mixing some of those fruits as a smoothie. Maybe you have, or a milkshake, where you add some milk, some ice cream, maybe some yogurt, some of those other things. So maybe, you have a smoothie that is your meal. So it's kind of your fluid and your nutrients, your food at the same time. So I would look for creative ways to incorporate those hydrating fruits and vegetables to add in. And even though you can't measure those as well, pay attention to the urine color. And I think if you increase those fruits and vegetables that are very full of liquid, you'll notice that your urine is getting lighter, and those won't tend to make you feel as bloated as an 8-ounce cup of fluid does.
Does that include smart water with like the electrolytes and vitamins in the water?
Yeah, vitamin water, smart water. There's a bunch of different brands out there. Those are fine as well. They're not quite as loaded as like Gatorade or Numa or Pedialyte is, but they do still have more electrolytes and vitamins in them than plain water does. So yes, those are great solutions as well to drink to improve your hydration.
Okay, so you could drink 8 cups of smart water and be.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, the smart water, the vitamin water, those are, they are a lot more just plain water in them with a little bit of added stuff. Propel is another one. Now, some of those also have artificial sweeteners. So if you're trying to stay away from that, that, you know, is something to be aware of in some of these drinks as well. So read labels. You know, if you don't want to have certain sweeteners, then pay attention to those that have sweeteners added. I know Gatorade has lower sugar formulas. I think their new Gatorade Zero, I think, is Truvia that's in that, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, read your labels on your liquids as well. Read what is in them. You know, what's it flavored with? What's it sweetened with? Is it sweetened at all? You know, even some of the carbonated waters like the LaCroix, the bubbly, those kinds of things are fine for hydration status too. If you need that carbonation to make the drink more palatable for you, that's okay as well.
Great. Well, I think we answered all the questions. If anyone has a question later on, or if one comes to you and you'd like to reach out to me, please feel free. I'll have my contact information at the end of the slides. And if I will get it over to Leanne, and we can get that answered for you if I can't answer it for you. So we will definitely also get those PowerPoints, PDF file out to you guys as well. So I did want to let everyone know that we will have that link to retrieve the presentation in the PDF form. We highly encourage all to complete the survey that we'll send out along with that link. It is mandatory to complete that survey if you're wanting to get CEUs. So we ask that you definitely complete that survey. And here's our contact information. I have my phone number there and email, as well as Hannah's. And you could reach out to either one of us if you are caring for someone or know of someone that needs connection with dementia care, and we can help care coordinate. And we also have our team of geriatricians, nurses, and social workers. Here's our geriatricians, Dr. Elizabeth O'Toole and Dr. Constance Magulius. They are both great physicians, years of experience. They really take the time to sit down with the client and listen to their story. We realize that everyone has an individual experience, and we want to make sure we're helping everyone with the care plan that best fits their needs. And this is Nicole's contact information. If you need to reach out to her about registering for future programs, she is your person to reach out to. And those additional resources we have the Savvy Caregiver Workshops program, which Leanne facilitates. We also have a dementia support group that we have the 2nd and 4th Monday of every month, unless there's a holiday. And that's open for all in the community. You can come and go as you please. And within our dementia care navigation program, we also offer help with respite, and we really work with the family caregiver to help reduce their stress and burden as well. So we have our upcoming live webinar, and it's going to be presented by Dr. Dennis Grossman. He's our medical director at JFSA. And it is going to be the role of infectious disease in dementia, which sounds very interesting. And that's going to be Thursday, July 22nd between 6:30 and 7:30. And again, if you need more information on that or would like to register, please reach out to Nicole Herbert Hale at 216-903-1189. And there's our contact information again. I just want to thank you all for joining us tonight. And thank you, Leanne, for that wonderful presentation.
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan, and thanks everybody for being here, and go get your drink.
Yes, non-alcoholic or caffeinated. Just kidding. All right, thanks, Leanne.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, bye.